learn how to improve their business, their sales, their efforts through small business marketing. I have a guest tonight. He's not just a genius with my phone back there, but he's a good friend from Constant Contact. He'll be speaking a little bit later this evening about this subject with us. Constant Contact is one of the premier email platform software services. And but before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about me, and then I always like to kind of go around the room and kind of make this more informal by we all kind of introduce ourselves. So who are you, and maybe one thing that brought you here tonight. Okay, so this thing called email marketing, what is it? How does it work, right? Well, the first thing I want to share with you here is that when we have a product or a service, whatever it is, we're selling solutions to people's problems. That's our jumping off point. We're selling solutions to people's problems. So the information in the two columns behind me, the stuff under business market, those are all the kinds of problems that I did some research for this. Forbes magazine says that if you're a small business, the kinds of things behind me are the kinds of things that you consider are a problem in your life on a regular basis. Do those look familiar to you guys in some way, shape, form, or another?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And consumers also, we have challenging lives too, outside of work. So I looked for an article, and it was called the Top 50, get this, First World Problems That Bug Us Most. Okay? Because if we're consumer marketers, or if you're even a small company that's selling something to a consumer, right? Anything that's not another business, these are the kinds of things probably your customers are worried about. Anything from a runny nose to I don't have Wi-Fi to leaving the phone charger at home and everything in between. So if you think about it, taxi driver arrives late. That might have been the impetus for starting Uber. The guy said, I bet you I can come up with a better solution than this one. How could that work? That could have been the root of Uber, for instance. You know, no Wi-Fi. Well, what? Most restaurants today, every Starbucks today offers free Wi-Fi because they know that that's a problem. Not only for business people, but for everybody else. My daughter's a student. Guess where she loves to do her homework? Starbucks, Panera Bread, Corner Bakery, whatever, right? She's not at home. She's not distracted by the things that are at home, but she needs Wi-Fi, right? So whatever it is, you're solving problems for people, either businesses or customers. So the idea is, how do you make your whatever offering it is interesting to people? I think the first thing we start with is, how do people make decisions, and wanting to understand how that works, yeah? So there's a cycle that, in general, everybody who's ever bought anything significant anyway, anything that took a little bit of thought besides a loaf of bread, probably had to think their way around. The first thing is, it's called awareness, right? And that ties directly back into the last slide I showed you, because the first thing that you have to become aware of is that you've got a problem that needs solving. Those problems are the motivators. The problem is the thing that's the catalyst in the chemical reaction that drives everything else that happens after that. If there's no problem, there's too much inertia, and we don't get off our big fat fannies to go do something about it. The minute we go, oh, I need a V8, you start working your way through this cycle, okay? So the first thing is, you begin to research, because unfortunately for all of us today, every one of us has at least one competitor. I know I've got gazillions of them in what I do. I happen to think I do it better than all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, I mean, everybody is out there competing for your dollar, or the dollar that we want to have. So they begin researching, meaning, okay, I've got a problem now. What are the different options and ways that I might go about solving for this problem? And then the next thing is they go through a process of comparison. Joe does this, Bob does that, Debbie does this. Which of these three are the best solution for me and my problem right now? And then the next piece is they make a selection, okay? Now, lucky for the three of us, we have actually found a way to work together so that you don't have to make an either-or kind of a decision. It can be an and decision. But selection is the next piece, followed by purchase. We've now just gone only halfway through. Because the relationship continues and the thinking and the evaluation continues through this process too. The next thing that happens is that you say, okay, am I happy? You've made me promises in here. And I actually responded and I bought it here. Now I'm going to be using whatever I tried, bought, whatever, and I'm going to be comparing what I learned in this phase over here to say, did that work out for me well or not? Right? Then the next thing is called retention and loyalty. Because we know, most of us don't ever just buy something just one time. You're going to buy it and rebuy it and rebuy it, right? Every time that I have a client with a contract and we're going month to month, if they hired me this month and they continue to retain me into the future, it's because they were happy with what I did for them last month. So you're always reevaluating, and it's retention and loyalty based around this, right? And then the next thing that happens is if you liked what you bought, the next natural thing, because we're all social animals, is to tell other people about what we liked and why we liked it. Yeah? Does this all feels homely to us? Feels comfortable and familiar? Okay, it should. And this is where social media fits in, especially. In the old days, you had television streaming, right? And there's a bunch of people out here in the audience. This is your audience all over the place. And a lot of them got your ad, and it cost you $1 gazillion. And it was only half believable because it was coming up from somebody that had a vested interest in telling you that story in the first place, right? So you didn't kind of only halfway believe it. Now, if I trigger one person, and it's a lot less expensive to trigger that person is going to tell this person and this person by posting it on Facebook. And then this person tells these 3 people, and it grows geometrically. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is the huge power behind social media. This is why this is so important. This is why email marketing is a huge factor today. Because those emails that we can send out can be resent and resent and resent and passed down the line. Even back in the publishing days with print magazines, for instance, they used to talk about pass-along readership. The advertiser paid to have his ad circulated with 10,000 readers of a particular magazine. But the real value in magazines was the fact that it sat on the table for 6 months at the doctor's office or at the barbershop or whatever, where untold numbers of people came back and picked up that same worn magazine, and maybe they passed it along to other people too, right? This is what's happening with email now. This is really powerful.